When I was young, and I mean, even, 8, 9, 10 years old, and certainly through my teen years, I, one of the things I loved about the stories of Jesus was his supernatural power, his ability to walk on water, heal the dead. I mean, heal the sick, raise the dead, you know, turn water into wine, his mastery over the natural world and even over the spirit world. He was the master of everything, and he wielded this supernatural power that really drew me when I found fantasy and Dungeons and Dragons and whatnot. That it seemed an extension of a divine supernatural power, that God's power to create the world, or uh, stories of prophets who could move mountains and rivers and uh, call fire down from heaven. These were all powers of the divine that I grew up with, deeply believing were signifiers of God's command over the natural world. And as I saw other stories in fantasy for exercising that power in people's lives, I was immediately drawn to it because, in our faith, we believe that we can perform miracles through God's power in furtherance of his work and in accordance with his divine will. And that always sounded appealing to me. But then I was reading stories of people who had that power without the consideration of God's, the overlay of God's will. They just got to do it according to their own will. And they were free to exercise these supernatural powers for their own means, and irrespective of the worthiness, let's say, of the cause in which they were wielding that power. And that opened up additional avenues for me to consider: what would I do with supernatural power if I was invisible, or if I could read people's minds, or if I could fly, or walk through walls, or whatever, right? Like these kind of questions explore, when you get to the extremes of what is allowable natural according to the natural order, you get to explore the boundaries of your own morality. And in our world, we have two magic systems: the divine magic system and the natural magic system. The divine magic system, the power is only accessible to those who fully align themselves with their deities, uh, personas, their divine essence. Whereas the natural magic system is open to anybody, and through these separate systems, we can explore ways in which access to that power can manifest in the world as any other form of power. So, on the one hand, I would say magic is its own form of power, but only in the same way that knowledge is power, or money is power, or right. Like, there's lots of different types of power.